Here is a Tesla deep dive for those who are invested into Tesla or maybe wanting to get into Tesla. So before we get started, here's some proof of my work because obviously you don't know if I'm even good at what I do. So here's some proof, which are direct screenshots from either my X page or my Telegram group, the chart program. So first off, publicly on X, 25K views. My video I did back on Tesla back on April 12th, saying that the bottom's in and we're pushing up for wave 5 in this red zone. And then, of course, we actually bounced at that exact same level, pushed up to that red zone, formed some bearish R-side divergence, rejected that sell zone, and then bang, we ended up having a massive move down from that red zone. Then I ended up saying this is the bottom. I'll be entering starter position into TSLA, which is a leveraged Tesla position, which I know overall we are still bearish long term on Tesla at that time, but you can't deny the bounce, right? We're definitely going to bounce that wave B, okay? And now we are getting a very violent, this is right here, the updated chart on Tesla, right? We got a very violent bounce off that retest level, and now we are reaching that purple zone, which is our first sell zone, right? Our first take profit, okay? Which I know is much shorter than our wave 5 and wave 3 that we called out, right? But this isn't a bullish chart at all. This is just a short-term push high for wave B. Now, could it go back to all-time high, or could it reject the top of this channel? Absolutely. But that is not our base case here. And this is my TSLA position. I'm up around 40% because I entered off that retest level on TSLA and we're ripping higher. And the move is not done. I still think we will have a much higher push for Tesla and TSLA, right? So there's some proof of work, so you know that I know, well, let me rephrase that. So you know that I know what I'm talking about, okay? So let's move on. This is very important. Tesla has two cycles, compression and expansion, right? So let's look at this chart here. Let me actually zoom in. So since IPO, Tesla loves to compress, right? It loves to compress for maybe even a couple years, right? It compresses for a couple years, and then it starts either a brand new elliott wave, which is the long-term elliott wave. So this would be like a intermediate elliott wave here, but it starts a expansion move, which happens to be like very, very violent. It's a very violent move for Tesla before it enters another compression move. And this can give you, 1,000, 2,000% returns. It can give you insane amount of money here, right? This is where Tesla starts getting really, really oversold, right? And then once that expansion move is over, then we enter another compression move, okay? Another compression move, and then another expansion move, and then another compression move. So there is going to be an expansion move pretty soon. Now the question is it going to happen right now, or is it going to happen next year or the year after that? So let's actually break this down. So before every expansion move is a correction, okay? Does this mean we have to? No. Technically, we don't have to, but we have every single time. So as you can see right here, before we actually made this expansion move, we rejected top of this wedge. Ooh, that's really thick. And then we ended up making a higher low or the correction move before seeing higher, okay? Now, let's look at this. The same thing happened here. Rejection to the top of the zone, correction for a higher low, and then push higher, okay? What's happening right now? Rejection to this top of the zone, most likely wave B for another rejection. Then we're going to form a higher low before another push higher for expansion, right? So this is a really, really simple system to follow. And most likely this is what is going to play out, right? This is most likely what's going to happen. It's happened since IPO. I don't see it changing at all. Now, question is, could it break out now? And this was like a short higher low, and we just rip higher to, $1,500 for that expansion move. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible, but I mean, the odds of that happening for me is, I think, basically zero. I don't see that happening at all. Not at all. Not even a chance. I do not see that because I think it needs a deeper correction. Elliott wave is bearish here, and also the market is already on that euphoria phase, right? And usually that is the top for the market, right? So for Tesla, like if you review this, Tesla expansion move lasted about, let's say, a year and a half, 2 years about. So that would mean that SPY is going to see a massive leg higher, right? And I don't see that happening. I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong. And we do rip higher to $1,500. And this is the expansion move. And by all means, do it. I'll make more money that way. However, I just don't see that happening. So anything's possible. But the odds of that happening is basically zero. And you don't make money by gambling, right? You make money by playing it safe, knowing exactly what to do, having a plan, and executing that plan exactly, right? So overall, if you're trying to enter Tesla long term, I don't think this is the right spot. You could have on the retest like we did for TSLA, and if you have, absolutely amazing. If you're, I'm assuming you're inside the chart program. If you are, then you know when we're going to sell, you know when we bought, and you know what our game plan is. Okay, so if you're not in there, then follow the chart. I may update it, I may not. I don't really know. Um, but you will not be the first one to know. So people in the chart program will, or if you entered that, then God bless you. Yeah, I think God has been blessing you really well, actually. So, but overall, I still think long term we're going to go lower. We're going to go probably at least minimum around 250, 245, but there's a very small chance we go to 150. Not a small chance, a very high chance we go to 152. So that is something to also keep in consideration. So that is just something to watch. Tesla does compress and then enter expansion move. So you're going to want to be into Tesla once we actually finish this correction. Absolutely. This would be my biggest long-term investment. Who cares about what the fundamentals say? Who cares about any of that stuff? The company is great. Don't really care about the fundamentals, how overvalued it is, right? So that is something to keep watching. Now, Elliot's wave theory is bearish, like we just went over. It is bearish. It is showing a wave B, but wave 5s are usually very subjective, right? They can change. Wave 3 can go extended. Wave 5 goes extended. Maybe wave 1 is different, right? It's very subjective. Wave 3, wave 2, 3, 4, and then the move up to wave 5 is all basically standard. But after that, if we enter a correction and keep pushing higher, that's very subjective. So, Tesla, just from an Elliott wave standpoint, doesn't necessarily have to enter wave 5 now and correct now, but just from the technical analysis, like this bearish channel, which is bearish, by the way, with this wave V, right, and knowing what we know on our channels, like our strategy is when we have a bear flag or a bearish channel, we usually bounce and then we form a higher low before we actually roll over to break to the downside. So this is all expected, and the rejection to this purple zone is also expected. So keep an eye on that. Just know that Elliott wave is bearish. The technical analysis is bearish. Doesn't necessarily mean that's what we have to do, but that is what the probability says, right? But if the market runs very parabolic, then could it break out now? Many of y'all are asking that same question, or I know it. I know you're thinking that as I'm saying this, right? And the answer is, again, like I just went over, yes and no. It could, but most likely no, right? I mean, if you love Tesla long term, you don't want to sell anything, then if you bought that retest, hold the retest. Maybe trim some at this purple zone if we reject, right? But if not, write it out, right? I'm not saying if you bought this retest doesn't mean you have to sell this purple zone. Now, if we reject it, I would at least sell half. But if we don't reject it and we keep pushing higher, then write it out. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. So keep watching that. It could, but most likely no. Now that might be the last one here. All right. So let me actually go on to the actual. Let me go to actually trading view and let's see. Let's break this down right now more in depth. Okay. So Tesla does have a long-term bearish RSI divergence, right? Most of the time when stocks have that, they're not bullish at all. I mean, this is a very bearish sign. RSI divergences on the weekly time frame has about the 86, 87% win rate. So when you see them, you have to take them very seriously. So that is something to keep in consideration also. Bearish RSI divergence, wave B most likely, bearish channel. Everything is following the strategy exactly as planned. I've been charting Tesla since 2023. Nothing, Tesla hasn't done anything surprising, and ever since I've been charting it since 2023. So that's 3.5 years. 3.5 years. Tesla has not done a single thing unexpected. I called the wave 2 correction. I called the wave 3 push higher. Called the exact top. I called the wave 4 push lower. I called the wave 5 top and push higher. And then the correction moved back down. So Tesla has not done anything unexpected. And so we are still expecting that wave C, right? Bearish RSI divergence again. Following our strategy for bearish wedges and channels. Okay, Elliott's wave is bearish. Every single thing is pointing bearish here. And Plus, there is no wave B here. There is no wave B, right? So even for this wave 4, you can argue there's wave B right here at 430, right? Even for this wave 2, there is a wave B. This, there is no wave B. This is almost 100. I am almost so confident that I might actually short Tesla if we reject this purple zone. Actually, you know what? I will short Tesla if we reject that purple zone. So this chart is screaming bearish at me, even though I did long it because, I could be wrong. And if we do rip higher, I'm going to want to be in Tesla, right? And I know for a fact we're going to bounce to that retest level. So why not make free money, right? So that's basically my thoughts on Tesla. We are watching that expansion move, right? This is the expansion move in the non-log chart, right? It's a huge, absolute huge volatile move. And I do expect that to happen within the next 1, 2, 3 years. So once we do see that correction, I think that's when we really are going to start having that expansion move. We could push up to 750, but ideally, I think we're probably going to push to around 1400. That is probably going to be around our target for that expansion move. And if it happens, I'm going to be the best chart analysis you've ever seen on X, if not already. Boost my ego, not really, but I'll be the only one that's actually calling this move with a real strategy, not just hopes and dreams, calling out some random numbers like almost every single person I see on X doing. So that is my deep dive on Tesla. I'm not going to break down fundamentals or anything. I'm not a fundamental guy, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. And to be honest, I don't think they really matter here. It's basically all just charts, really. So that is my deep dive on it. If y'all have any questions, please drop them down below. I absolutely love questions. I love answering them. I love helping you out. And if you want to see what's inside the chart program, you want to see the trade directly, see what we're doing with Tesla, see what we're doing with TSLA, and any other market updates and what we're doing, send me a message. If you want to join the coaching program and actually learn how to do what I'm doing, send me a message for the coaching program. Or if you just want to hop on a one-on-one calls to break down market and really go over direct trades for you so you can make a lot of money, then also send me a message for that too. So please share this so other people can see it, and I'll see you in the next one.